Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Hale with Witness Select Music, and I got a blank session in front of me here. And what I want to do is for you, if you're learning Pro Tools and you want to see how to create your own template, mind you, I do have a artist recording template. Check it out, link down in the description of this video. But I want to show you how I would start a brand new session if I didn't have my template for mixing or my template for recording, and why I would do what I would do. Now, this might get a little complex, but I will try to give you as much detail as possible without making this video 25 minutes long. But first, let's start with our canvas. This is our blank session. We have nothing here. What we need for sure to start with is a couple audio tracks that'll get us audio from a track into our headphones or into our speakers. So let's start with that. Let's go to track, new. And now here we are. This is where the magic begins. No witchcraft though. All right, let's start with this. Let's start with a new stereo master fader. Okay, so this master fader is going to be your master out to your Apollo, your Focusrite, or whatever interface you have. Okay, let's just create that. Boom, there we go. So this is going to be my output to the master. So now any audio will go out to my headphones or my speakers. Okay, so the way that music flows in my mind is that I like to have it as groups. So everything gets grouped according to its characteristics, to its family. So bass, kick, drums, which is perks, snares, and all those. I know you could say kick and drum would be in the drums, but I like to have the bass and the kick separately. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then the harmonic sections, which is just all the instruments, all the rest of the instruments. Then you have sound effects. That's just with instruments. Then we have lead vocal, chorus, layers, backgrounds, adlibs. All of those don't necessarily always have to have their own separate group, but it's always good to have at least an idea of why it's important to have separate groups for those things when you're mixing. But first now, all of those two groups, I would say, the two main groups, the music group and the vocals, all of that comes together at a channel that's called the mix bus. Okay, so let's create the mix bus. I'm going to go and quickly create a stereo. I'm going to do a auxiliary, and there's my mix bus. Let's name it mix bus. Awesome. Now, like I said, we have instruments, we have vocals, we also have effects. So I'm going to create 3 auxiliary channels and buses, in other words, 3 of them in order to send my vocals, my music, and my sound effects to these 3 channels, which then go to the mix bus. Let's create that right now. So I'm going to do stereo. I'm going to do 3 auxiliary channels. There. All right, perfect. So this one's going to be my vocals. I'm going to hit Control arrow right. This one's going to be my instrumental. Oh, you know what? Let's just do effects. Control arrow right, and then music. There we go. Now all of this is going to be routed into the mix bus. So let's do that right now. So my mix bus goes out to my master, which is great. Now this here is going to be my vocals. Now I already have everything labeled, but you probably don't. So let's go and create our labels before we start to route everything. I'm going to go into my IO settings. I'm going to go over to bus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to default everything just like that. Now everything is defaulted out. And I hit OK. So now I'm going to select the input for my mix bus as my bus 1 and 2. Now I'm going to select the input for my vocals as my bus 3 and 4. And so on. 5 and 6. 7 and 8. Okay. Since my vocals, effects, and music are going to go into my mix bus, I'm going to select while holding Shift and holding Shift with Alt on the PC. I'm going to send these to bus 1 and 2. So now vocals, effects, and music go into my mix bus. Let's change the color so we can give it a little bit of personality. Double click there, hold that. There we go. Vocals, effects, and music. Okay, so that is the simplest, most simple way to get your 3 channels routed into your mix bus in Pro Tools. Now, from there, let's create a couple of folders. Here we go. What I'm going to do is we're going to go new. We're going to create some routing folders. All right, let's start with the instruments. I'm going to go and create a routing folder. I'm going to create, let's create 1, 2, 3. Let's create 5 routing folders. I'm going to do the same, and these are going to be my instrument folders. And I'm going to do the same with my 5 routing vocal folders. I'm going to name those vocal. Now, there we go. It looks a little complex, but trust me, you're going to understand this when we're done. So now here we have our first instrumental folder. We can open it, close it, open it, close it, open it, close it. Okay. So let's start with naming these. Bass. All caps that. Bass. We're going to go with kick. All caps it. Kick. Drums. And harmony. Harmonic section. And then we have the sound effects. Now we're in the vocal folder. So chorus. Lead. BGVs. Layers, which would be BGVs, or you can do Adlibs there. So now all of this are my groups. Lead. So I'm going to change the color for my vocals. I'm going to go red. And then I'm going to select the out of all of these. And the out of all of these is going to be, you named it, you guessed it, bus 1 and 2. Oh, sorry, wrong. Bus 3 and 4. There we go. Now, we're going to do the same thing for all of these, which will then be bus 7 and 8. All right, so now we have our vocals and our music folders. They're routed properly. We're going to create some folders that will allow us to route and contain and organize all of the effects that we're going to use in a session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go create a stereo. Actually, you know what? It's just a basic folder. It doesn't give you the option of stereo or not. And we're going to do 2 folders. There you go. They got created inside the Adlib folder. Don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it out like this. Now I'm going to go reverb and delays. Perfect. Now, these are going to be where we're going to create our reverb and delay effects. So let's go track again. And we're going to create stereo auxiliary. The best way to describe what a bus does is that it sends audio to a channel in parallel to the original channel. That makes sense. So now we're going to create a couple sends. We're going to do 4 sends. They're auxiliary. Perfect. And This is going to be our Hall. This is going to be our plate. This is going to be our delay. This is going to be a quarter note delay. And then eighth note delay. Perfect. I'm going to move these to here, and then I'm going to route them to 5 and 6. Route these to 5 and 6. So now my reverb, my delays are all going to the effects channel. My chorus all the way to my Adlibs is going to my vocal channel. And my bass all the way to my sound effects is going to my music channel. The vocals, effects, and music are then going to the mix channel. There you go. That was a easy breakdown as to how to create your own template inside of Pro Tools. I have a similar template available to you if you'd like it. I have it for free, and all you got to do is click the link on this video below. It's called the Witness the Light Music Pro Tools Artist Recording Template. You're going to love it. It's going to make this very simple for you. It includes full-length tutorials, 5 lessons, about 26 videos in total. It'll break down how to record yourself. It'll break down how to mix what you've recorded and how to export it all. So if you are newly getting into Pro Tools, this is going to be a great way for you to not just scratch the surface, but to get into it. So hopefully this was a blessing to you. Let me know if you have any questions. Catch you later.